On social media, there are 3 types of content that truly exist. I don't want to feel like I have to constantly produce, but I do want to be consistent. Now, when it comes to creating content, creators are going to want to learn how to work smarter and not harder. Collaboration looks so different from what it has looked like before. What do our favorite movies and TV shows have? Seasons. Yes, seasons. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. I create content about self-development, creativity, and social media strategy, thoughts, predictions as it pertains to music, TV, film, and entertainment as a whole. Or at least that's the direction for 2025. If you want to join me on that journey, then feel free to click the link below to subscribe. I really wanted to share these gems with you guys. Social media is ever changing, but it's changing even more in 2025, and I want us to get ahead of that. I made a list of 10 of the biggest predictions that I could think of for 2025. Mind you, this may all change, but I've been working in social media since 2016. I have created content, worked with influencers, been a content creator slash influencer of the sort. I've helped other people create brands on social media, and now I currently work full-time for a WNBA team leading their strategy and content. So I know a little something, but in all of that, I like to focus on a people first perspective. I approach social in a way that you approach modern day relationship. How are we building relationship? How are we creating connections with people online? How are we creating an impact? And what does that look like across different industries and all of that good stuff? So I'm going to share what I know specifically as it pertains to personal brands and any brand that's in the entertainment industry, TV, music, film, sports. I think there is a lot of great information on how to do it based on your niche, but for me personally, I think that personal brands and brands in entertainment are the ones that people pay the most attention to. So those are the ones that we'll be talking about today. So I don't have a lot of time to make this video actually have a meeting shortly after. So we're gonna kind of breeze through this as much as we can, but if you do have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Number 1, longer form content will be king. Notice how I said longer and not long. Long form content like your YouTubes or even like a Substack or like longer written form content, that's definitely going to be top of the list, top of the priority for creators in 2025. But I say longer because we're not quite ready for that, right? If you're in the US at least, we're currently coming off of a TikTok era. And on TikTok, the attention span is about like 3 to 5 seconds. And a lot of experts have said that that number is actually gonna go down even lower in 2025, with Facebook reporting that we're only gonna have about 2 seconds to catch people's attention. I do think that will be a part of the conversation, but I say longer form content because people want to spend more time with creators. Like the reason why we have comfort creators and we have people that we go to just because we know that they're consistent and we feel like we know them. There are reasons why parasocial relationships exist. It's because people are spending time with you over a long period of time. And on TikTok, you're only able to do that if you have tens of thousands of minutes of footage to watch, right? But without an app like that being at the forefront for us in 2025, what we're going to see is people going to longer form platforms and prioritizing longer form content. An update that has happened recently on Instagram is that you can now post videos over 90 seconds. Hallelujah. I've been waiting on this for so long, but now that we can post videos that are longer than 90 seconds, those videos will only go to the people that follow you. That means that you have to hook people in with your shorter form content and make them feel like they want to see more of you. And that alone is going to change the direction of content strategy for a lot of creators. I think that's something to pay attention to. You have these longer form capabilities on short form platforms, but people are not yet accustomed to that. When we look at the Reels feed, a lot of the content on there are 5 to 10 second videos. So how do I get somebody who's accustomed to watching a 5 to 10 second video to watch a 15-minute video? I definitely do think that the priority for longer form content will be there in 2025, and slower content will be sought after. With that being said, there will definitely be an influx of Instagram and YouTube creators in 2025, which I think that a lot of people have been predicting that with the absence of an app like TikTok. But I will say, like, YouTube will most definitely be the biggest one that we'll see an influx on. I've already seen it in this month alone. I think a lot of the New Year's resolutions is like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber this year. That is also one of my resolutions, hence why I'm here. We're definitely gonna see a lot more of that, but with that, there's a lot of novices in the world of YouTube. A lot of people don't know how to create an engaging YouTube video because they're so used to the 5 to 10 second videos. That is their bread and butter. So honestly, on YouTube, I predict that we're gonna see a lot more YouTube Shorts creators over YouTube in-feed creators. That's definitely something to think about, as I feel like YouTube Shorts is definitely going to be like the next TikTok adjacent platform, but something definitely to think about and to consider if you are moving from TikTok over to an Instagram or YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is definitely going to be your best bet between the two. YouTube has always been the place to create community. The OG YouTubers still have really loyal followings to this day. I think of the people like Jackie Aina, Alyssa Ashley, Arnell Armand, Aaliyah's Face. Like, there are so many, and that's just really just in like the beauty and lifestyle category. But there are so many creators that have been able to maintain their audience even in a TikTok era or a short form content era. I do feel like YouTube will be a place where we continue to cultivate community, but also I'm seeing the rise of Substack. I'm seeing the rise of Patreon as well, which is super cool. I also have my own Patreon, but I'm figuring out how I want to relaunch that this year. It's going to be great because with this influx of new creators on Instagram and YouTube, people are going to want to find their favorite creators. It's going to be harder to sift through the noise and find the people that you've been watching for a while, and I think that is going to be an incentive for people to want to subscribe to them on other platforms. If you are a creator that has been creating for a while, I would consider definitely creating a subscription-based platform, something low lift and easy that other people can also follow you on. I am also currently a part of Jade Fox's Patreon, and I really love her content over there. So I would definitely say, find the creators that you've been riding with for a minute and subscribe to them on other platforms. Oh, perfect. Okay, we got more time. We love when a meeting gets pushed back, which is great because we're only on number 3. We have so much more to cover. Moving on to number 4, content will start mimicking TV shows and movies more than ever. We already kind of peeped this in 2024, right? With the involvement of series and themes around content. And I do believe that's going to continue to be a thing. People are going to want to see creators come out with different engaging and bingeable series that they can watch and gain different information from. They're gonna want to see content that they can follow a storyline. I would definitely say, since it's the beginning of the year, a lot of people love a good transformation. They love it. I recently did a video where I was talking to my future self, and I put it on Instagram and TikTok, and it did so well. And it was also just great for me to be able to reflect between, my past self and my future self and answer some of the questions that my past self had. But people loved that because it showed a transformation. So create content around your transformation. If you're starting a running journey, if you're starting a new business venture, if you have certain goals that you want to achieve, share those goals with your following right now, and then also show the process of getting there. That in itself is a series. There's so many different ways to kind of go about this. I've seen people take really big topics and then break them down into bite-sized chunks and kind of make that its own series. Justine's camera roll does this so well. When she opens a series, she'll start it off introducing the series and then has little episodes in between kind of breaking down that bigger topic. Chef's kiss. And I definitely think other brands, not just personal brands, but other brands will start to implement this same strategy. So definitely something to think about. But with that, what do our favorite movies and TV shows have? Seasons. Yes, seasons. So they have seasons, which is something that is super exciting to me as a creator that's trying to find more sustainable ways to go about content creation, because I don't want to feel like I have to constantly produce, but I do want to be consistent. The best way to be consistent, but also wanting people to come back for more, is to have seasons. Change it up a little bit. Leave them waiting for something new, like something like that. One of my favorite shows recently, it's called From. It's on MGM Plus. This show is so good, and I have literally blew through all 3 seasons that were currently available. Season 4 doesn't come out until 2026. So I'm currently sick. I'm waiting, I'm excited, but I would definitely say if you're a content creator, obviously don't wait a year to post, but create a different season. Create in seasons. Let people feel as if they are with you for one season of your life, and then switch it up. Do something different. Have a different focus. Have a different goal in mind. Even if you aren't going the route of creating content in spurts, which I do think is a good idea, you can still switch it up in just changing the end goal. So if this season of your life is you just solo traveling, then amazing, love it, chef's kiss, let's watch it. Then in the next season of your life, you're settling down, you're trying to figure out a new career pivot, you're doing something different. Like, we want to feel like we're a part of every season. I think that is going to work really well for personal brands. For bigger brands, it's going to look a little bit different, but there's definitely ways to go about it. In addition to content more so moving into the realm of TV and movies and things like that, we're also going to see brands having sole spokespeople for their brands. It's kind of like having a brand mascot. Different sports teams have different mascots, and that mascot typically embodies the personality of that brand. That will be the same case for other brands outside of sports. So think fashion, think music, think beauty. These brands are gonna have brand archetypes that people are going to want to follow and lock into. So it's gonna go even beyond having a certain archetype for the type of consumer that you want. It's really gonna look like brands deciding which long-term partnerships they want to lock into. If I see that Bretman Rock is consistently pushing Olaplex, which, makes sense. The hair, love it. Amazing. If I consistently see that from Bretman Rock, it's gonna make me associate Bretman with the brand Olaplex. So even if Bretman is not even talking about Olaplex in a video, I'm gonna think about that brand whenever I see his content. Brands are going to utilize that more than ever in 2025. Also because influencer marketing is expensive. It just is, okay? It is so expensive to get a ton of creators for a campaign to push a product, and which I think is part of the reason why in 2024, beyond inflation and everything, is part of the reason why a lot of brands scaled back when it came to investing in their influencer marketing. But now, when you can condense that larger number into a dedicated pool of spokespeople, you're able then to invest more into those people and those brands because you're essentially working alongside each other. I would say this is the year to figure out which brands you want to champion behind and start developing long-term relationships with them. I definitely feel like in 2025, brands are really going to cut down on who they're utilizing to push out their brand. I think before it was more so a focus on micro creators and people with smaller fan bases, which, is great for conversions and things like that. It's great for more of like a one-to-one type of connection. But I feel like in addition to that, they're gonna want to hold on to those creators that they have and stick with them. So just something to think about for this new year. Number 6, there's gonna be an influx of educational content. We've already kind of seen this happen, but it's definitely gonna take precedent over any other forms of content. On social media, there are 3 types of content that truly exist: educational content, entertainment content, or a combination of the two, Edu-tainment content. People are gonna focus on being educated and learning more. This is gonna happen because of apps like TikTok, which is a huge informational platform, educational platform. I do believe that that's going to happen since TikTok will not truly be at the forefront anymore. That being said, I do think it's beneficial to think about how you can add to that conversation. This is going to look very different from a 2020 social media where there was a lot of how-to videos, right? But now it's like that, but not. It needs to feel like a story. Like, we need to feel like we're following you on a path to success. I definitely think that a lot of personal stories, a lot of individual experiences are going to come to the forefront when it comes to content. And that's really going to be the driver of a lot of this educational content. When we think of education on TikTok, it wasn't super buttoned up. It wasn't highly produced and super edited. It was very, very casual. It felt like you were just on FaceTime with one of your best friends. And I think that educational content in 2025 is going to mimic a lot of that. With that being said, though, podcasts are going to grow in popularity. But I don't necessarily feel like it's going to be as easy to clip posts from a longer podcast and put it on a short form platform. I feel like that will be part of the story, but a lot of that other content is going to kind of feel like this. It's going to feel like a conversation. It's not essentially going to feel super produced as a podcast would, but also in that same vein, more than the one-to-one, like one-on-one conversation, people are going to want to see and feel like they're a fly on the wall. And I think that's why podcasts work so well, because it doesn't feel like you're being talked at or talked to as much as it feels like you're just kind of in the room while the conversation is going on. I do think that this year, that's what a lot of podcasts are going to look like. That's what a lot of content is going to look like. Something that really feels like you're experiencing something with someone rather than them telling you how to do it. That's super, super niche, but that's definitely going to be a big takeaway for this year. Number 7, I really do think that creators are going to utilize AI more than ever. We have been around artificial intelligence since the early 2000s. We know this. And if you don't, now you do. Now, when it comes to creating content, creators are going to want to learn how to work smarter and not harder. Artificial intelligence, like anything, is a tool. That is a tool to help you get to where you want to be. We're going to see creators really teaching people. Well, this has already happened in 2024, but in 2025, we're going to see so much more edutainment content, educational content, talking about how to utilize AI in your creative process. I do think that if you are not tapped into those creators now, you should probably be tapped into them, because they're going to help you learn how to automate your creative process, how to do it faster and easier. If that is something that you're interested in, I do still think that there's benefit in slow creativity and allowing things to happen naturally. But AI is super, super helpful when it comes to creative burnout or feeling stuck or not knowing where to start. Use that as like a starting place for you and then build off of that. True creativity is being able to not just be given a blank slate and go from there, but to be given a starting point, a foundation, and be able to build your own thing on top of that. AI is definitely going to be a big part of 2025. With social media kind of coming down from a super produced level to something that's more casual and conversational, we're gonna see people with bigger followings kind of come down and meet us where we are. We're gonna see that in like spam accounts. I think this is super, super cool because first, we're bringing back the spam account culture. Like, I think that was a super like early, I don't know if it's early social because everyone's account really felt like a spam account in early social media, but I do think that as social media started to get a little bit more buttoned up, specifically on Instagram, people were like, yeah, I need an alternative. I need another side of me on another profile. I started to see this with Monet McMichael. She created her own like spam account and only let in a certain amount of girlies into that account, which I thought was super, super cool and a great marketing idea. Billie Eilish also used this to promote one of her last albums, I believe with Instagram Close Friends, which isn't really a spam account, but you know, and I don't think she even runs that. But regardless, I think another really good creator who's done this, and I don't even know if it was intentional, but Kat Burns. Love it. Love Kat Burns' normal person account. Even though I am a fan of her music, seeing the other side of her, the neurodivergent side, the side that's quirky and fun, that has really invested me into her as a brand. We're gonna see a lot more of that in 2025. I think it's gonna be interesting to see which creators do it successfully and which don't. I think celebrities, you know, the world of celebrities is a whole different world. Being able to see them in a different light, more than just like the highlight reels, more than just the achievements and accolades and things, I think is going to be really interesting to see in 2025. So another big thing that I'm predicting for 2025, creators are going to utilize their voice in content a whole lot more. With the rise of storytelling and series, you cannot connect to people simply just by using trending sounds and other things that just aren't your voice. Like, people connect to the human voice, and now with AI starting to actually mimic or create human voices, we got to get ahead of the game. Conversational content is going to be top of the list, but we're going to want to hear your voice. Voiceovers are going to be a big thing. Talking to camera is going to be a big thing. People want to actually hear you narrate through your life. They just want to hear from you in general. With social media, we're also hyper connected, but also alone at the same time. This is really going to try to close that gap and allow us to feel a little bit more connected to the people that we follow. As a podcaster, as someone who loves to yap, I'm excited for that personally. And then lastly, as a girly who works in sports, I do believe that we're going to see more of a cross-pollination between industries. Sports and fashion, that's been a common one for 2024, and honestly a common one for a while. The WNBA and NBA tunnel fits have been a huge thing on social media, and last year we also started to see collaborations between Skims and the WNBA, and Glossier and the W. Fashion and sports, and beauty and sports, beauty and movies and TV, beauty and music. We're gonna see so many different combinations, and I'm super excited for this because it only expands our creativity. It only expands the opportunities for creativity and creative campaigns between these brands. I'm personally definitely looking forward to seeing that. This is gonna be the year where collaboration looks so different from what it has looked like before. It's not just gonna be hitting collaborate on an Instagram post. Like, collaboration, true creative gelling is going to happen this year, at least between industries. I'm personally very excited to see that happen. And even with brands, big brands will do it, but creators will also do it. And it'll be in a way that's just so interesting. And I think, you know, in the early days of YouTube, we definitely had this. We saw collaborations and like kind of like two worlds colliding on YouTube, and we always went up for those. But now, like, it's gonna happen on social in a new and different way. So I'm excited to see what creators are actually going to collaborate and what different skills and talents they may swap between each other in order to make something really cool and interesting. That is all I have for my 2025 social media predictions. If you guys really enjoyed this video, then let me know. Obviously, if you're watching right now, then you enjoyed the video, girl. So comment down below, let me know how you feel, and I am excited to see you in the next video. Bye. Wait, does anyone do that anymore? The whole, like, I don't know. Bye.